Let me explain how AI is going to become a consumer. Tomorrow it is going to be AI agents deciding and buying. AI is going to replace jobs, right? That is inevitable. That is not a question whether it is good or bad. The thing is, it is happening. Banks are going to let go of 500,000 people over the next 5 years because of AI. There is going to be a new concept called AEO. Instead of optimizing it for search engines, you're going to optimize it for AI agents. So you need to have lots of data, and especially data that is going to go into decision making. Don't position AI as AI versus humans or humans versus AI. The world that you are entering now or you're in now, it's humans with AI versus humans without AI.
Welcome to another thought-provoking episode of the Collaborative Canvas, where we deep dive into the intersections of innovation, insights, and transformation. Today, we embark on a journey to explore a future that is fast approaching, a world where artificial intelligence transitions from being just a tool in our hands to becoming a consumer in its own right. Joining us is a visionary leader in the space, Mr. Ekhlaque Bari, and we fondly call him EB, founder and CEO of XdotO, an AI strategist at Minfi and a global renowned keynote speaker. He's masterclass instructor and a very fond storyteller. With decades of expertise, EB helps boards, businesses, and management unlock the transformative potential of AI by solving complex challenges and reimagining possibilities, which we are going to speak in detail with EB for a short while from now. In this episode, we will delve into the futuristic reality where AI makes decisions on behalf of humans, reshaping marketing, branding, and personalization. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and follow the Collaborative Canvas on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on the conversations that are shaping the future of our industries and our lives. And let's unlock the future together, one episode at a time. So let's dive in. Welcome, EB.
Thank you so much, Ankesh. Thank you for having me on this platform. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
We foresee the role of AI transitioning into a consumer in itself. We are relying on the concepts. Is it good? Is it bad? You see challenges? You see anything that needs to be corrected? Or how about you talk about first how it is actually becoming a consumer.
All right. So first, let me explain how AI is going to become a consumer. If you haven't heard already, you will hear of a concept called AI agents. And AI agents are sophisticated pieces of software that will complete a task end to end. And the task that we are talking about is an AI agent being your personal shopper. So you'll tell an AI agent, I want to buy the best Android phone of less than 10,000. It'll go figure out which websites to search, which models to search, what is the best model, what is that criteria. It'll ask you for your preference. Then it will find out the best deal. And if it realizes that something is going on sale 2 days later, it'll come back to you and say that this is the best phone that you should buy, but don't buy it today, buy it 2 days later. And it'll help you complete the transaction. It'll do end to end. And increasingly, you will see people having these AI personal shoppers. So at the end of the day, today, humans are buying from these e-commerce websites and mobile apps. And tomorrow, it is going to be AI agents deciding and buying. And that is why the concept of AI became the consumer. Now, to your question of whether it is good or bad, that is not a question, whether it is good or bad. The thing is, it is happening. It is a force that is going to come irrespective of whether we like it or we don't like it. And therefore, like any new advancement, it will come up with its own set of challenges and opportunities. Marketers and organizations will have to adjust to this new reality. And this is an unknown that they will be getting into. That is going to be a huge challenge. How do you deal with something that you have not dealt earlier? But the opportunity is that there is one more thing to market to, right? And therefore, it presents an opportunity in terms of more rational buying decisions, because AI is going to be driven less by emotions and more by rational, and therefore it presents an opportunity for organizations to market their products and services based on rational decisioning. So that's the opportunity, but the challenge is it's an unknown quantity.
That's where people needs to learn more. I've been attending a couple of conferences, and we are seeing AI evolution has been not so challenged, but I think AI is actually challenging the human overall. That I'll eat up your jobs, though it's not exactly the case. But I think when you go into it, when you study it, then you realize, as me who's nothing new about AI or the those technical jargons, I simply go and chat GPT and then put my thoughts, and then I come up with. Which doesn't mean that I don't need a content creator. I still need a content creator.
Yes.
That's just making my, easy. So it's good or bad. I think I would echo your thought that it is not a question to be, thought of. It may be good as long as you're using it in the right way.
Absolutely.
But considering we spoke about another thing, the primary decision makers are the consumers. And you talked about, the AI agents. How will this, reshape the traditional marketing overall approach?
It's an unknown quantity, right? So marketers will have to figure out, how do I market to AI agents now? And I believe that there is going to be a new concept called AEO, which is translation of SEO, but instead of optimizing it for search engines, you're going to optimize it for AI agents.
Okay.
Right? So marketers will need to figure out how are AI agents making decisions, right? And therefore they will have to market their products based on the decision-making criteria of these AI agents, just like Google has its own criteria for which page it throws up first. Because you're going to be marketing to AI agents, it's an additional channel that you will be marketing to. You will need to be data rich because AI is all about data.
Yeah.
So you need to have lots of data, and especially data that is going to go into decision making. Traditional marketing, meaning marketing to humans, is going to undergo some change, but will still be necessary and very important. Okay. The reason is a simple one. The question started by saying the primary consumer is AI. I would slightly modify that and say the primary consumer still remains human, right? The AI is the intermediary that is going to go into the actual purchase. But if you look at the marketing cycle of awareness and consideration, a human is going to be telling the AI agent, look, I want to buy a phone, I just want to buy an Android phone. I'm not going to look at Apple. Or you have to say, I'm only interested in between Samsung and Google phones, right? Now, when the human is giving its preferences to AI agent, it is being driven by the marketing and whatever the human understands as brand, right? So AI on one side is going to be making rational decision making, whereas your branding is going to be more of an emotional appeal. So the branding and marketing to humans will move upstage more towards the awareness and consideration, right? And you need to have emotional bonds because you want to tell the human consumer that tell your AI agent to consider me, right? And that's why marketing to humans is going to be equally important in the era of AI agents as it will be important to marketing to AI agents themselves.
Now, considering that, we've been talking about AI by large in terms of different data sets, I think I've been hearing more about within my industry, synthetic data. Now, understanding consumer emotion comes only when you actually talk to them and, you get that data. How AI, the people who are actually working on this whole set of ideas and, how do they can actually, work this out? Is there a process that they can think of, so I go to the consumer, I understand their perspective and then feed the data and then, come up. But that preference changes in a couple of days. So how does that emotional intelligence play its role when you're actually using an AI?
So when you are using AI to design the marketing or you are using AI to design the product, what do you mean by when you are using AI?
Example like, Apple versus iPhone. Now,
Okay, so
sorry,
how do you
Apple versus
market to
Samsung.
humans when preferences are changing?
When preferences are changing, because it is
so
human
dynamically,
intelligence.
right? So, well, AI is going to be of great use there, right? Uh,
But in that case, you have to feed the data, right?
yeah, well, yes and no. Today, where are changing consumer preferences reflected? On e-commerce websites, on social media. And AI can listen to all. AI can listen to social media at a scale that we can't imagine. AI can listen and browse the internet to a scale that we can't imagine, right? So AI, and I know of companies that are using AI for sentiment analysis, for getting the latest, picking up the latest trends and preferences, and then feeding it back into their marketing and into their product development to be able to get to consumers what they prefer. So what AI has actually done is shorten the cycle of listening and understanding the changed preference. Without AI, it is more of a reactionary approach. So one example I like is there was a wafers chips company that is listening to social media, and it picked up that people are talking about seaweed a lot nowadays, right? So they then went back and designed chips that is flavored with seaweed, and they put that out on the market, and it kind of sold itself because it was based on what the consumers were talking about. So AI actually helps shorten the cycle and quickly reach to consumer preferences. Now, allow me to caveat that with something. If the changed preference is not on the internet, right, and if it is in people's mind, if it is inside homes, if it is in the streets, that's when you need the traditional consumer. People think traditional is old, but what you need is going out onto the street physically and then doing the consumer research, because as much as we would want to believe it, not everything is on the internet. So there are things that are out there on people's minds, on streets and in homes, and sometimes you will need to employ those methodologies to be able to understand consumer preferences.
Yeah.
But feed that back into AI.
Yes.
Right? And then AI is going to...
Yeah, because 80% of, if we talk about tier 2 and 3 cities, people don't feed in information, they just browse the phone, they just, swipe up and swipe down. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Very few actually talk about if they're searching, if I have a phone, I'm putting up my feedback into it. That's, again, a feedback, not necessarily everything that I want to talk about it. So I think that plays a vital role. You mentioned one-to-one personalization in marketing is coming up, and it's often highlighted as a game changer.
Yes.
Can you a little bit emphasize on that?
Yeah. So let's first understand the value of personalization, right? You, I, all of us are consumers. And if there was a mobile phone that was specifically only designed for Ankesh, wouldn't that appeal to you as opposed to a mobile phone that everybody else can have? There are studies that have proven that if you personalize messaging and if you make your marketing relevant to the individual, your chances of getting an uplift on your product sales increases, right? But that has been difficult. It has been difficult. The kind of personalization that you see today is the email body remains the same, the subject remains the same, and the name changes. That is the level of personalization. And then there are some gender-based personalization. So you'll go to some websites, you will see that, for men, it is marketing differently versus women, it is marketing differently. But personalization has largely been macro segments, sometimes micro segments, but one-to-one personalization has been rare. But with AI, it's possible. I spoke at a TIE conference. It is a technology entrepreneurship forum. And I spoke on AI, and around 20 people were interested in it. All of them gave me their visiting cards. And I knew that if I reached out to them, let's say within a short span of time, while I'm still fresh in their mind, I will be able to take the discussion forward rather than trying to reach to them 2 days or 3 days later. So on my way back from the conference, I used AI to say that I've just done this conference. I got 20 visiting cards. I need you to create personalized messages for emails for each one of these 20 people. What I had to do was, after this initial prompt, I just gave the name and, very importantly, some context. So this is person X. He's a founder and director into this business. And it created a personalized email. The next one, again, the name, the designation, and what business the person was in. Again, so I got 20 absolutely personalized emails with subject lines different, bodies different, names, of course, different. And if I can do that, and in 20 minutes, not 20 minutes, and in 10 minutes, 20 personalized short emails just went out, right? So what is important is AI has this capability to personalize. And for that, what needs to happen is companies need to have that data for personalization, right? And data will come in three forms. One, that you will collect implicitly or explicitly. Implicitly means based on what you have been buying, what are your preferences. Explicitly means I am male, I'm 50, I'm a corporate leader, so on and so forth. But you need to have this data for AI to have context to personalize the message. The second kind of data is more demographical and environmental. So the person is in India, person is Asian, person is North Indian, male, so on. So these are things that you can collect from the internet based on GPS data and others. And the third kind of data is timing data, which is it's Independence Day coming, it's Republic Day coming, or Valentine's Day coming. And when you combine these three, explicitly, implicitly collected data, environment, demographical data, and timing data, imagine the personalization of each message. You give that to AI and you say, this person A, these are the data points. No two messages will match because each person is unique. And therefore, and because it is relevant and it is unique to me, the chances of my sales and people subscribing to my product or services are going to be higher.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about the game of communication in that case.
It is. And communication that is relevant, what will make me click, open that email or read that message, right? And here is where AI is even a bigger game changer in one-to-one personalization, right? Which is today, see, we talked about personalization, we spoke so much about email because email is something that you can change, but you don't change the graphics, right? You don't change videos, you don't change audios. With AI, you can create a personal graphic. You can create personalized videos, you can create personalized audios, right? So even the content, the kind of media that you're going to use, personalization, it's all about communication. Personalized communication, and you can use different media, and that AI makes it possible because AI can create any kind of content. And the last one, the kicker on top of this, is that usually marketing messages are broadcast. It's one way, right? But with AI, you can make it a two-way marketing communication. You can send out a video, it can listen to the consumer, and it can respond to the consumer also. So that's how far you can take the personalization game with AI.
Yeah, I mean, I think this sounds very fascinating, but it needs a lot of investment. It needs a lot of, scalability becomes a major challenge for any D2C brand, for example.
It is, let me say that AI solves for scalability, right? If you try to do this without AI, the amount of investment that is needed is going to be, it's not worth it.
Exactly.
Right? But organizations that are at scale, right? They will need to invest, but I think they have to recoup most of their investment and more because of the benefits that will come out of 1:1 personalization.
Yeah, that's something I can see. I mean, so when you were actually talking about, I was thinking of, say, for example, lotion. It's different for a dry skin versus different for an oily skin, and different for sensitive skins. And if I know that I'm just citing again the same example which you said, national holiday is coming up, and we know that we have to, create a sale out there. Now, if I know that there are 15 people who are oily skin, I would only craft my communication around that and would send it out to them.
Yeah.
They would only see that portion and they would resonate with it, rather than they would see, this is for other than oily, this is also for dry skin. I got many options other. But when they talk about it that, this is specifically for me. Hi, Ankesh, you have an oily skin and we got a fantabulous product for you. Would you mind using it? Simple in a nutshell. And then you use AI, on that prompt, you get a fantabulous email and then you send it out. So 15 people like me would encourage this. But when it comes to scalability to, say, I'm pushing this out to multiple regions, I'm pushing this out on a certain festival, it becomes evident that, you really need to invest a lot of money to get that kind of attraction. But once it is done, I think the sale booms, the brand flourish.
Yes, so the initial investment of setting up the factory to personalize is going to be an incremental investment. But today you're still sending out messages, right?
Yes.
So the cost of sending out messages remains the same.
But the conversion rate is not very...
Conversion rate is not very high, so 1%, 2%,
Yes.
right? But if you personalize and you assume that 2% goes to 3% by personalization, right? That 1% increase in conversion, right?
In fact,
is
that's
huge.
a great business idea. I mean,
Right.
I am kind of intrigued about the fact that if I have, say, 10,000 people and I know their perception, their preferences, I can actually create a singular email, more personalized to them and send it out to them. And the concept of two-way communication would help me understand, refine it for the next
Absolutely.
marketing.
See, the two-way communication is like the peak of one-to-one personalization in a way, right? Because whenever we talk about marketing and personalization, we always think one way, broadcast.
And that's how you started the conversation.
It's a paradigm shift.
It
right?
is.
It is a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And even before personalizing my messages, I can just send out a video which can interact with the consumer. Okay, what kind of oil? If you were to buy a skin lotion, what would be your preference? Right. So you're doing research also.
And that is why we started this conversation saying that AI is becoming the consumer. And that's, probably you would have got the answer by now.
Last year, Dairy Milk used Shah Rukh Khan. In US, a cruise company used Jennifer Lopez. And recently, yesterday, I saw one company using Anupam Kher. So what they do is they record a video of Jennifer Lopez or Anupam Kher or Shah Rukh Khan saying something, right? And so what Dairy Milk did was, Dairy Milk gave it to all of its groceries, to the Kirana stores who wanted to market that, but they didn't want to market only Dairy Milk, but they also wanted to market their own store. All they had to do was give the name of their store, and it was Shah Rukh Khan speaking the name of their store. Please come to Ekhlaque Bari's Kirana store tomorrow. And for you, it will be please come to Ankesh grocery store tomorrow. And AI is making that possible. So imagine Jennifer Lopez inviting you to a cruise with your name being pronounced and spoken by Jennifer Lopez. So that is the level of personalization that can happen and possible with
since
AI.
you mentioned that, I was calling one of my colleagues and he got this ringtone. I think he owns a Airtel. So it says that Ayushman Khurrana is a friend of my friend and he is not very, good in picking up the phones on time, but I am here to help you out and I'll get him on board. Just wait for a minute, 2 minutes. And that's how the personalization was actually working. This guy his name is Anand. And I think that's the kind of a personalization people are bringing up on board. I think a couple of years back when I used to call myself sometimes to hear what ringtone it is working. It says, thank you for calling Ankesh Saxena. He'll answer the call shortly. But that's not personalization. It is personalization, but it is not at a level where you're using a celebrity to endorse you.
Yeah.
And I think, that's something again, few years back again, when people used to give happy birthday messages through celebrities. It's more of, they pay for them and they say, you said. I think that's where it is coming up, and this all data is there. Now people are using in a different way. And I'm kind of intrigued about this, one-to-one personalization, because it is effectively working as of now. We cited 4 examples right here. And if it can be worked out by a lot of D2C brands, I think they can, take the game to the next level. They don't even have to worry about, whether the products get sold or not. And there are seasonality of not selling those products. They can sell at any point of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The power is huge.
And that comes to my next question, that what if business starts marketing primarily to AI? What concerns would rise? And especially in terms of data usage, biasness.
I'm glad you asked this question, because we usually end up thinking about the bright side of things and then forget about the underbelly that comes associated with it. See, divide these ethics and risks into two parts. One is companies who are building AI agents, and the other who are marketing to AI agents, right? For companies that are marketing to AI agents, there's a risk that they may manipulate the data that they are sending to. So they are sending fudge data, reviews that are not genuine, ratings that are not genuine. They know that AI agents prefer sustainable, environment-friendly products. Your product is not that, but you're still sending that to the AI algorithm. You have also had dealings with a AI agent maker saying that for your AI agents, give my brand the preference, but the consumer does not know. So there are risks there, and one of the biggest risks is data privacy and data security and data ownership. And there are three distinct things. For me to personalize and to market, I need to understand you. But where do you draw the line between privacy and understanding you? That is an ongoing question even today, right? And that will become even more relevant with AI agents coming in. That how much data do you share with your AI agent, and where does it breach your level of privacy, right? The second thing is, if you are giving data to the AI agent, and for example, you're saying, I prefer Android phones, or I prefer Samsung, or I prefer brand A, brand B, or this screen size, who owns that data? Is it the company who made the AI agent, or is it you, the consumer, who owns the AI agent, right? And data ownership is a big deal today,
exactly.
Right? If the company owns the data, they can sell this data, right? And the third thing is, which is really the scariest bit, right? Now take the personal shopper. If you really want to do it end to end, the AI agent will have your credit card information, and it will be able to make and execute a purchase. But if a hacker were to hack into a database of AI agents, it has consumer preferences, it has consumer personally identified information, it has financial transactional data. So there is a huge loss of data and risk of data breach. You could be fudging the data, and you could be also in cahoots with AI agent making company exploiting the consumers, right? That whenever an AI agent comes, it's a tacit understanding that I'm going to push your product first.
And I think that brings us to the last question, because you actually mentioned about data privacy, ownership, and the theft that can happen. Are there any laws which are still in the phase, they're protecting them, and any conversations around it? Because that's pretty scary to anyone.
Yeah. And there are laws, and every country has laws. There are regulations, but I believe there are needs for, I would say, more regulations, but better regulations. I mean, there shouldn't be gray areas. What is not data privacy? Who owns the data? And what I notice is that governments are also exploiting this data privilege to say, okay, it doesn't matter. Government has right to all data.
Yeah.
And so it is. Governments are coming up with regulations, but there is need for better and more regulations, not only around data privacy, but very, very urgently around AI.
Yeah, because the data is getting fed to some other servers, and even if it is your data, you're kind of learning things up, and that's how we call about AI training model.
Yeah.
So yes,
what I also mean is, and this is slightly deviating from our consumer research topic, because we are talking about risks. AI may not replace jobs. AI is going to replace jobs, right? That is inevitable.
That's the first thing I'm actually hearing in the last couple of months.
Yeah, it is going to. So I'll tell you three news I just read. One is that banks are going to let go of 500,000 people over the next 5 years because of AI. Google and Microsoft have decided to lay off certain number of people because of AI advantages. So there is news coming in of reduction in headcount because of the efficiency that is coming up with AI. And there's a challenge with AI becoming autonomous, meaning starting to make decisions on its own and becoming more powerful than the human. And the only way to mitigate these two risks One of job layoffs and the other one of AI becoming more powerful than the human is for governments to come up with regulations.
Yeah.
Right? There is no other alternative. And it's not only individual countries that need to come up, but there needs to be a global effort around making sure that AI benefits humans and it does not cause more harm than good. It is going to do both. It is going to do both. But it is upon the governments, and if you leave it to the tech companies, they're going to go after profits.
It makes sense. I mean, I think it is
there's a
basically
need for regulations around AI very urgently.
Yeah, it is basically in the hands of the government to create those regulations which can let humans survive. Because even one of our conversation where we said the human preferences and the emotions are vital, and when you train the AI and let go of the humans, then you're defeating the own purpose. It would only go to a certain extent.
Like yesterday, Election Commission has told all parties that please use AI responsibly in election campaigns. So, I mean, they can go as far as only say that, right? Because there are no regulations. But in the US, they are coming up with the regulations saying that if you create any content using AI, you have to watermark it saying AI created content. Right? That could be a regulation, right? So there is a huge need for regulations around AI. Otherwise, it's going to cause more harm than good. It is beneficial in tons and tons of ways, but it has huge risks associated with it too. And those need to be mitigated with regulations. So before I give that last bit of advice, allow me to build some context to it, right? If you go back to the 90s, there were no computers as such, right? Hardly any ATMs and no internet. Now, if there's a bank today that employs 25,000 people, and imagine they were operating in the 90s, right? They would actually employ 100,000 or 200,000 people because they don't have computers, they don't have a core banking system, right? And they won't be giving mobile banking or internet banking. So there are some products and services that would not be possible, and they would employ a huge number of people. But we know today they are employing only 25,000 people, right? And they're offering internet and mobile banking. So think of AI is that the next technological advancement that is going to bring about productivity. So tomorrow that bank is going to possibly employ 10,000 people instead of the current 25,000 people. But it will also give you products and services that are not available today. What they are, we don't know. Like in 2000, you didn't know social media is going to come up, right? But it came up, and there's so many people who are employed in social media. So know that AI is going to, while it is going to replace some jobs, which computers and internet also did, they're also going to create products, services, and jobs that don't exist today, right? And whether it goes back to the earlier conversation, whether I like it or not, it is a force that is coming. It is coming. It is coming, right? So you can say it's not good. I'm not going to use it, so on and so forth. You are the only party who will end up losing. You are the only party who will end up losing, which brings me back to the message that I want to leave my audience with, which I always do, that don't position AI as AI versus humans or humans versus AI. The world that you are entering now or you're in now, it's humans with AI versus humans without AI. So you got to make that choice.
Yeah.
And humans with AI, like you said, to come up with certain names, brand names, you take help from AI. It's not like AI is making the decision as to what you should name your show or whatever it is, but it can be used to generate ideas.
Yeah.
Right. So people using AI are going to be more productive, are going to be more creative, are going to have more ideas, and are going to have an edge over people who are not using AI.
And that's where the job threat comes around. I think, other than the technical part of it.
Yeah, you will be replaced not by AI. You will be replaced by a human who's using AI.
Yeah. So you'll be losing your job against a human who's using an AI. So what a fascinating journey into the future with EB. From AI evolving into decision makers to the ethics of marketing in an AI-driven world. Today's discussion has left us with much to ponder right now. I mean, even I'm thinking what scary part, what jobs are getting lost, but what are benefits as well? How we can actually come up with creativity, and how businesses and human will coexist into the landscape shaped by the technology. As we look ahead, it's clear that the role of AI goes beyond algorithms. It is about creating meaningful connections, driving responsible innovations, and ensuring humanity remains at the heart of these advancements. If you found this conversation as intriguing as I did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast and join me as we grow into this community of change makers, thinkers, and doers who believe in learning from the best to create the better tomorrow. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and remember, the future isn't just that happens to us. It's something we create together. See you in the next episode, and thank you so much, EB.
Thank you, Ankesh. Thank you for having me here.